Hey all, this is Analysis. This is some more Gran Turismo 7. We're doing some Tokyo 600. I did manage to win with another car now, with one of the that was. I tried to win with it before and come first place. Better than stuff that, but I didn't manage to. But now I managed to change around the build a little bit. The thing is, you don't actually want it to be at its default weight if you're using automatic. You actually want the weight to be reduced. And I don't know how much benefit it is to go to stage 5 on the weight reduction, which is super expensive, which is 500,000. But if you go to stage 4, you get all the weight reduction, then you can get away with. But the thing is, you don't want the cheap Aventador. I tried the cheap Aventador out and I couldn't win, but I have changed the downforce on it because if you go with too much downforce, then that actually decreases your max speed and stuff that. So we're gonna try out with this here. And I think we get away with having it on lean 2 is the question though. Or do we need to have it set to way lower? And that is going to be the question. Like what do I actually need to set it to and stuff that, Because we're using the McLaren now instead. Stuff that, yeah. So can we get away with having 2 in fuel? I think we're gonna need 3 actually and stuff that probably. Okay, so I'm guessing the brakes are not as good in this. For some weird reason and stuff that, yeah, because the thing on the Lamborghini is like on the Aventador, for example, you get a lot of horsepower for your back, but the thing is you don't need super much horsepower on it to actually win for some reason and stuff that, like it's just very, very well balanced and stuff that, and you can drive like very, very fast in corners and stuff that, So of course this is not technically 4-wheel drive, from my understanding and stuff that, so yeah, it's gonna be slightly more problematic, right? I don't want to turn the TCS on all stuff that, so yeah. But yeah, the thing is also, for example, with the Lamborghini, you could run with the power 2, and then for the last thing, as long as you made sure that you got full fuel, you can actually set the power to 1 and stuff that and get away with that, and stuff that's, yeah. Now you would think because this has a lot more horsepower, basically, it's ridiculous that this still has over like 600 horses or something like that, or horsepower or whatever, right? And for example, on the Lamborghini, I have something like 458, I think I have, or maybe less. And that and stuff that, and then use like the Lamborghini is so freaking fast. But the thing is that this car is slightly heavier and stuff that, so maybe I need to actually reduce its weight and stuff that in order to win, but we will see how things go, of course, obviously, so Of course, also as the stage gets drier, things will often be easier and stuff that, but it seems like it's because I don't have the power on the car reduced by that much, so it seems a bit weird and stuff that, right? But the thing is, of course, it takes a while to quote-unquote get into the lead and stuff that, and stuff that you shouldn't like stress out that, oh, you're like far down and stuff that, because you're going to catch up to a lot of the cars and stuff that. And I'm using the whole brake assist also to show you that you can actually use like the whole brake assist, so you only have to focus on the acceleration and stuff that's, yeah. And of course you will be able to go faster also once the stuff dry up. But I haven't been able to get the clean racing bars for whatever reason, even if I haven't like smashed into someone and stuff that. So I'm guessing there are certain lines you cannot go over, because I never went over the specific line in another place. And here's the thing, right? You should be able to just hit the wall and stuff that, because you can quote-unquote wall ride and stuff that, so it might just be that I don't know, black how much can you touch the enemy and stuff that, because enemy or local like the other drivers and stuff that, the AI drivers, stuff like that. Because it would be cool if I could get like several different cars to like work for this and stuff that, you know. And I'm probably gonna make setups for the other good races also, like with other cars and stuff that, like, you know. Now on the Lamborghini Aventador, I did like reset the engine and stuff that, so that I didn't have any of the engine upgrades for it and stuff that, you know, because you want it almost with its default stuff. You want the torque differential though on the Lambo, so you can set them to 50-50 in front and back, like the balance, so you get a 4-wheel drive. Because if you use it on normal, it doesn't actually have 4-wheel drive, though it says it's 4-wheel drive because it's not, you know, the balance is not correct on it. So yeah, you know. Yeah, it doesn't go up in speed here until it's actually properly flat and stuff. But yeah, I kind of know that when I want to make the pit stop, because if you make the pit stop too early, there's no way you're gonna like catch cockable and stuff that, you know. So yeah. But I mean, even if I get 4th place, for example, you still get quite a bit of money and stuff that, you know. Or if I get 3rd place or 2nd place, you know, and stuff that. So yeah. But I was able to get 1st place on the Aventador, the newer one, and stuff that. But then I got the older one and I thought that, oh, this older one is worth like less points or whatever, like it's worth less PP point. So you would think then, oh, that should be better then and stuff that. So I tried to run it into the default weight, but the default weight is used too heavy and stuff that, because if the car is too heavy, then it doesn't matter if you have like, if it's quick and stuff that, because if you have like very, very high weight on it, then it's gonna accelerate slower and stuff that. So, you know, so there are like a balancing thing, right? Like how much can you actually get out from it and stuff that. So yeah. And the thing is, you don't need to get close to like the fastest time or whatever, like you can with the Volvo and stuff that. But I think that on the Volvo, I should be able to actually make the Volvo faster. Stuff that would sound ridiculous, because it seems that the whole using the whole downforce is actually bad, because the downforce, like, sure, it gives you more grip and stuff that, but it actually reduces your top speed. And if you have like very, very high downforce, then you actually see a very, very big difference often in the whole top speed and stuff that's, yeah. And I am going to try with the NSX also as well, you know, and stuff that, because the NSX supposedly is pretty good for this, the GRB, the rally car and stuff that, so yeah. But you want to use it with its quote-unquote default engine or whatever, because yeah. Maybe I should set the leniency on slightly higher. Just set the limit on 4 for now. Because technically you want to come in so that the when you exit the pit, you come out on lap 8, kinda is kinda what you want. But with the Lambo, for example, you can use the leniency on 2 with one of the Lambos, with the Aventador, the new one, and with the. And then, of course, once you have pitted once, and so that, then you don't even need to change the sports halves tires. And once you come out, you can actually set power leniency to 1 and still make it, as long as you make sure to like get full fuel for it, you know, because yeah. And I believe it's not this lap, but I think it's going to be the next lap when Gala will pit. So that, because Gala will pit earliest and stuff like that, yeah. you have to be a bit careful at times here. Stuff that's here. So can we get away with power 5 here and still go over 300? This question, because that's the really important thing, that you go over 300 here. But sometimes it feels like Cockapon gets faster once you win once on the track. It seems like Cockapon gets faster for some reason, kinda, you know. Usually at this point I would be up higher and stuff that, but you know, it can also be the fact that of course this isn't proper 4-wheel drive, so it's gonna have to be more careful and stuff that, you know. And I am using automatic, so I cannot black benefit from short shifting and stuff that, you know. And of course the fact that you're using the, when you have it automatically brake for you, then for example it's gonna break in a lot worse situation, so that was a bit bad there. You want to try and figure out how much you can push the car and stuff like that, you know. I mean, it should be getting better and better the drier it gets and stuff that, you know, or at least, you know, the track never gets fully dry and stuff that. There's just a specific lane on the track that kind of gets dry and stuff that, so yeah. Should be able to do one more lap, I think. I said it only needs 6 here. Gallo is coming in, lap 5. Should be able to make one more. Hopefully this still makes me be able to go over 300, you know. On the slipstream is very, very nice here. You're gonna need to come in on this lap though, which is gonna be a bit problematic, I feel like, you know. The worst thing is probably we are probably gonna be needing full you know, full fuel tank and stuff like that. I am recording right, yeah. Yeah, I am. So right, I know that I can win with the Lambo and stuff like that, you know, so that is why I'm trying this one out. I've tried this before, this car and stuff like that, but I've gotten better at, you know, doing the thing, because there are a lot of cars you kind of want them in default, but there are sometimes certain things that you want, like they're fully customizable, like computer and stuff like that, so you can like reduce both the power on that and the regular power production with the power restrictor and stuff like that. Maybe if we would have used the leniency 6 at the very, very start, and that maybe would have been better and stuff like that, because, you know, it is different from car to car and stuff like that, you know, and stuff like that, and being able to, for example, get away with only having the, you know, to use like very, very, you know, following. There's a lot of cars that still haven't pitted now. So that the question is someone going to pit now when I pit? It's going to be the question. No. No one's pitting when I'm pitting, okay? And I shouldn't have to change tires. Yep, I'm going to change tires. And we will need just about full here. But I should probably be able to get away with having it slightly higher, the fuel consumption or whatever. This feels pretty slow. I feel like they have like different speeds how much they fuel here. So can we get away with having 3 here? Because it's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's 6 laps. So we need to have fuel for 6 laps basically and stuff that. Let's just do one on the leanest. 1 lap on the leanest to see how much like fuel we actually consume and stuff that, you know. Because I'm pretty certain that it's going to be either this lap or the next lap that the cockpit comes in and stuff that, you know, so yeah. Now it is a bit weird how this can have more horsepower and still be slower than Lambos and stuff like that. It's like very, very odd, and it feels like Kokubun changes basically how quick his car is depending on what car you use. That's kind of what it feels like, you know, because you know that the AI cheats in this stuff that, you know. Because usually Kokubun is way faster than everyone else and stuff that. And sometimes also Gallo is slightly faster, but that's only for a short time and stuff that, you know, often, you know. Maybe it's just that the Lambo engines are bigger. Instead of that, maybe, you know, maybe they're like V12s or whatever, right? And maybe it's only a V8 in the, you know. Okay, so we're gonna gain a bunch of positions here as long as, you know, they need enough fuel. I'm so goodness gracious. Can I have the water house with proper water in it, like the correct water, the one from the filtration thing? So that it filters out like the bad stuff, so it's actually clean water and not the black water that contains God knows what. Stay alive. Yeah, can we get away with having it on 5? Probably. Before even. Because now it's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we need to make sure that it doesn't go below the 5 there, as long as we're on this lap at least. But I feel like we're probably going to be consuming less fuel, right, when the track gets more dry. Because yeah, you always notice, for example, between each lap, like, you notice it becomes easier and easier and stuff that to like run at high speed and stuff that, you know. Yeah, but this car definitely feels like a lot slower and stuff there. Like I don't that go as hard in the corners with whole acceleration, and it's weird, right, that this has way more horsepower and stuff there. Like this is almost like, well, not really 200 horse more. I mean, kinda 200 horses more, and that horsepower more, and that feels ridiculous. And yeah, this is only 200 kilograms, I think, heavier. Not even. I think slightly less than that. King Cockburn went in, and the Cockburn will only need 30 for something fuel. So you go up from 7 to about 30 or so in fuel. But it's, yeah, no, it's getting more now actually. Oh, 52, that's actually very, very high. So that indicates just that he's driving way faster than he does normally and stuff like that, because normally he doesn't get 52 fuel. So I don't know if it's just that it's out just on this stage for some reason or whatever, you know. Because 9, 10, 11, 12, so that should be 4, yeah. So, okay, now we're getting over 311 here again, which is very good. But yeah, we're still way slower than the times because usually we're used 1 or 2 seconds behind like the fastest lap time or whatever, right, with the Lambo, kinda. And I know that yes, with our Volvo, for example, we could use like easily beat the lap time and stuff that, you know, and be able to do things faster, you know, and stuff like that because yeah. I forgot if he saw no Fragger went into the pit already and stuff that, you know, maybe they did. But it seems weird because sometimes it feels like when they pit is dependent on your fuel consumption and stuff that. Sometimes it feels like, you know. Yellow is going in again. It's a bit wide there. Okay, 2 of them are going in. Some might be going in because he's going very, very far to the south. He just likes to be over there, okay. I'm gonna be able to take a bunch of positions here now. Yeah, and maybe if we would have used a different power leniency at the start and come in later, then, you know, we maybe could have had like enough fuel to like use like power leniency like 1 or something like that if we would have run with like 6 at the very, very start and stuff like that, you know. Because if you make sure that you come in on lap like 8 or whatever, or like you basically you come in on lap 7 basically and stuff like that, so that you come out on lap 8, then you can often run with power on the maximum and stuff like that, depending on the car, you know. Yeah, you can see now the car is. We can have like way, way high speed now in the corners here. And now it's way, way easier to control. Because now we're literally catching them in this section. We don't even need a straight anymore to catch them. So I don't think Susvilo has been in on this pit stop yet, or maybe he has been on one of his pit stops. I think sometimes he does 2, sometimes he only does 1. Okay, so we might even be able to turn it down to 3 here because it's going to be 11 and 12, right? Yeah. There's only going to be 2 laps left. So we might actually be able to turn it down to 3 here. And turn it down to 3 and taking the risk. Because even if we get 3rd place, that's like 330,000 credits actually. Which is quite ridiculous. I think we can still run with leniency 3 here, probably. Depending on, of course, how much fuel we have left after the finish line on this one, we might be able to go into power leniency 1 on the last lap. And then we actually have a very, very high chance of getting at least second place then, instead of just third place. Because I'm pretty certain I'm way faster than they are in the corners here and stuff that, like they are way slower. You can see there, as soon as it starts drying up now and stuff that, like the last lap is of course the absolute driest lap and stuff that, because yeah, it's just, you know. I almost have 2 laps left of fuel and stuff that, so yeah, you know. I'm not gonna change though until we're almost at the finish line and stuff that, to the leniency 1 and stuff that, and hopefully, you know. Yeah, there's a GTR, which also makes sense and stuff like that. But I forgot if he has always used a GTR, because I feel like that is a change that they made or something like that, you know. So 1.8. Yes, maybe I cannot do it. I mean, is it gonna be 1.7 or is it gonna be 1.6 or 1.7? Okay. We're gonna try to have it on 1 here, because there's no way I'm using up 1.7 laps worth of fuel. I mean, it's 1. So can we catch 6 seconds? Can we catch 6 seconds? Can we catch Gallop at second place? I would say yes, maybe, but of course running here with the power leniency 1, then it's gonna get a lot trickier also and stuff like that, because we're gonna have to try and get used to, because you know, with more horsepower it kinda slides around the place easier as well. Yeah. It was really close. Going to slightly stuck there. Yeah, we will probably not be able to catch here, sadly. Yeah, we're gonna probably have 0.3 or so left when we're past the finish line, maybe. But we're getting third place at least. So there's the flag, okay, so 5.5 seconds ahead, kinda, is what it was. Yeah. We did it in how quick? Yeah, we got 220,000, okay, so not really, but yeah, and I was 20 seconds behind the leader, and he did it in 27, 26. Well, that's actually faster than my time that I did with the Lambo for whatever reason. So what, you have more horsepower than he has more horsepower? Is that how it works? So I'm pretty certain if I go in here probably the thing should be that I should get the ballast lower and not care about horsepower as much. Probably. Because the Lambo, if we're going off favorites here, this is the Lambo I can win with. Which is 476 horsepower compared to 605 and weighs only 1,374. You can see in this one I can get first place with, for example, so you can see 78 on power stick to 50 on balance positioning, 200 there, 150 which is the lowest there, and then used 58 more than the lowest there. And you can see increase body rigidity, but then it's also only stage 1 to 4, with reduction on it, stuff that, and sports hard, and torque. Yeah. So it's like very simple, so it's not something like, oh yeah, you need very specific settings or whatever, because yeah. And I mean, the weight on both of these are kind of very similar, so let's start to get down to that 1,300 then. How much ballast do we need to get rid of? Because this car, you cannot have any weight reduction on this car, so how low do we need to go on this one to get to that value? Do I need to not have any ballast at all? 78, I think is what one of the cars were. Was that correct? Now 1,374k. 1,374. 1,374. Okay. And 476 is what that has. So can I get away with more horsepower than it? Oh. It has still more horsepower than what that has. So can I get away with even lower weight? Yes, almost. So we can get away with having 439 horsepower, and then we can be 1,370 in weight. Yeah. But there is no four-wheel drive because you cannot have the torque. So you can see how it is like that, meaning that's everything in the rear. Right, and if everything is in the rear, right, that means that it's rear-wheel drive technically. So that, and this of course you can just use almost with its default here. You can get its full power. And stuff that, you can get its full power and stuff that. And you only have 146 in ballast. Stuff that. So yeah, I want to try this again though. And one thing that I realized that you could do also, by the way, is when you're going in here, for example, and you select load styles, for example, you can go in on collection, of course, in my items, but then you can go in on content search and you can put whatever there, and you can use search here and stuff like that. So yeah. And of course, this car is not wide, so should I use search for stealth? Yes, probably. Stealth. Because sometimes there are people doing very, very cool stealth looking ones. Okay, but I am gonna be using the custom wing and I'm gonna have the high version. I forgot what wing it was on the other one that someone was using on the stealth one. I think it was type 22, I think it was. I think it was type 22 or, yeah, I think it was this type, yeah. Maybe it was a medium wing. I think it was a medium wing, yeah, because this one has the whole going above like that. Okay. And on wheels, and you wanna be using these ones because that one fit the stealth very, very, very much, and then you wanna use these 20, 21 inches and the standard size, unless you're having a wide car. Because if you do that, for example, you don't need to save it, right? You don't save the style when you do this, I think, right? Because this doesn't it doesn't save it into an actual, thing. Because if you load the style here, it doesn't show up in the collection there because you didn't add it to the collection and stuff like that, so yeah. But wait, why did that? Huh? Because I had type A before, I had type A there. I had this wing before. But is this wing used that much better then? Was it because of the wheels? Huh. But that's curious if the wheels made that much better. Okay. So we're getting away with 1371 with that, and yeah, it's it doesn't say right. Technically, it doesn't say the thing. I don't even own that one yet. There's a lot of parts I have for cast around. Så där ser jag. Okay, so let's go. Swag, foot duff. Foot duff surprise. Let's try this again. There it is. So we're using sports halls. We're getting away with 539 horsepower. We're using the regular transmission, 21 ballast, 92 power, stick start, 92 on the output adjustment. And that's the stick drift. Right. Then you can get away with very, very low weight on it and stuff like that, yeah. But it is crazy that, for example, that this can win with these settings here and stuff like that. That is, it might have to do with its torque. I can check its torque, right? like its torque is 59.3 of the kilogram. What is this? What's the torque in this? It is still lower. Display pens right as engine size 6,498 cc. It doesn't say. That's a secret to everyone. Oj då, Sipilek. Whatever they say. And then this, of course, as you can see, for example, on this one I need to have it like way worse and stuff that, you know, on this one and stuff that, you know. But yeah, but maybe you don't go with as many like weight reductions and stuff that somehow. So maybe you can get away somehow with having more horsepower if you use that more ballast and stuff that. Maybe you can use that slightly more horses into it. Right. We even add one more horsepower. Nope. Yeah. In this case, we can see we need add more horses to it and stuff that. Like it's like, how can that one be so much worse than the 15 model? But that's goes on LP 700 and /40, and this is on SF or S. Yeah. Anyway, let's use the McLaren here again. It's yellowing that shard for the switch. And that cable has actually gotten damaged there, and I believe that's because of the heat, that the heat can actually damage the cable and stuff that, which is pretty bad. So, so we're using, you can see here, Tractor 0, brake. That's that. And controller like this on 0 instead of -2, so that, and for it's default. So that, because that makes it so that it's slower response time, which gives you the smooth steering. So yeah, and as I said, we're using the auto drum on the brake there. So let's see how this goes here. Now, since we have more, maybe we can get away with using 2 here in leniency. Maybe we can use power 2 here. Yeah, it gets actually very hard to kind of quote-unquote brake and stuff that, right? Or it gets very, you know, as long as it's wet and all stuff that. So, you know, we have to be careful at first. You know. But yeah, I mean, 5.5 laps onto power leniency, if that is correct, that seems decent. Stuff like that, because I mean, it is worth doing 1 or 2 stops, even if you can like be that much faster, right, and stuff that. So I'm gonna try and go leniency 2 on the way and see how fast we can actually be and stuff that, because yeah, it might just be that this car is too, like, it's too bad at taking the corners and stuff like that, and it's just that 4-wheel drive is just a must on the car. So that, because I believe the NSX, since it's a rally car, it also has the 4-wheel drive. Yeah, because now we're already doing 310 there. Stuff that you might say, oh, but that's not that much change. But the thing is also our acceleration is probably way faster as well and stuff that, which is why we're almost already up to 6th place and stuff that. Because it is always worth like just testing with certain cars and see like, okay, like are these cars actually possible to do it with and stuff that, because if we could find a car that could not only do it like fairly easy, but also if we could get good like end time and stuff that, like get under like 28 minutes or 27 or whatever, right? And I know with the Volvo I can do things like way quicker, but the Volvo is annoying to handle, and with the Volvo you don't want to be using the whole brake assist thing, because then it just breaks way too early and stuff that. So yeah, But it might be that you want to have less horsepower on the Volvo so you can get away with actually using less fuel and stuff that, maybe there's a way to still make the Volvo kind of better, because the Volvo is never going to reach the PP points necessary and stuff that. So there's actually supposedly a Porsche that you can use, although I don't know exactly which one that is. That is supposed to be really good in this as well. There's also a certain, I believe there's a certain Mercedes also that you can use supposedly that is really good as well. And I might already have said Mercedes and stuff that, except maybe I need to use its default settings or whatever, because And of course, the vehicles that they're using are actually having way more PP than 600, because that limit only applies to you and stuff like that. So because the thing is, if we can be second place after like Gallo comes in, if we can be second place at that point, then things are going to go well. In maths, there are certain like check marks that you can kind of use to figure out how good you're going to be able to do, perform or whatever. You can definitely feel like the weight being like much lower and stuff there, because even though it's still like very wet and stuff that track, and stuff. I don't know, sometimes if it is that you collision into the enemies, if that's just what makes you lose the clean race bonus, or if there are certain specific lines that you cannot cross over or whatever. It is pretty decent time here. Even of course, the more things try up here, the quicker we're going to be able to go as well. It's that line that you cannot cross those lines that are there and stuff that, so It's hard to figure out which is why I hope that December update, like you could have something so you could know when you lose the clean race bonus, or you make the clean race bonus, you speed the default that you earn on every single track and stuff like that, and then still have a clean race bonus or whatever, right? You know, or just bring several other events up. Just that, because always they should always be, in my opinion, because this type of track existed both in Gran Turismo 2 and in Gran Turismo 3. There existed an event that was used to drive around in a circle and stuff like that for quite a lot of laps. That had like a very, very good payout and stuff like that, you know. And then once you won that, for example, and for example, if you grounded up to the Pikes Peak scooter, for example, you could also get the Pikes Peak scooter from finishing the rally campaign in Gran Turismo 3, I believe. But if you go to the scooter Pikes Peak, then you could enter the endurance version of the same race, basically, and stuff like that. And it was, I forgot if it was how many laps it was, if it was 150 laps or if it was 200 laps or whatever. And then with the scooter, of course, you can use place to it like very, very quickly and stuff like that, you know. And I believe it would usually take maybe an hour to do 200 laps, or maybe slightly more, depending on the tuning, of course, on the scooter. So that, because there were a trick that you could do also as well, but that trick was mostly only for doing on the test track in the game, which there are no races on that track. No. Because you can make it go like you put like very high downforce on one thing and then very low on another thing or whatever, right? And then you can make it go like above 1,000 kilometers per hour or whatever it is, something silly like that, you know. Which looks ridiculous, by the way. Yeah. Now, as long as we don't need to pit on this lap here, that could maybe be good. Because if we don't need to come in on this lap, then we can match when Gallo comes in, I think. And stuff that, you know, which would be something. Yeah, it's gonna be close here if we're gonna be able to get one more lap and stuff that, you know. I'm turning it on Pauline here for now. At least. Let's turn it on 6 here. Just to make sure we can get one more lap. So, unless Gallo comes in. If Gallo comes in, I will follow him. So that. Need to make sure that it doesn't beat 0 before we reach there. I mean, I said I was going to match Gallo. Can we get one more lap though? Yeah, because we have already passed that point here. So, you know, yeah, we'll be able to. But it's going to be very close here. Crazy thing is that we see me licking catch him even with the NC6 here. I didn't mean to punt you, sorry. This Frag is using a Skyline, I think. Or is he the one using the Impress? I forgot. Yeah, he forced me into the wall there. That should have been a penalty if this would have been all my race. Yes, we're gonna come in when it changes to lap 7, so we're coming in one lap too early, kinda, on step, but still. That's gonna mean 7, 8, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we need for 6 laps. We need fuel for 6 laps. Assist. And then more if I want to use on more, you know. So we're gonna need to pit now. Hopefully others will pit now as well. I'm not gonna change tires. Right, and we will need full fuel here to make it even. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't have to even use that still. We need to keep it the leniency on 60 so we know at least that we can get 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we need 6 laps of fuel here. So maybe we will still need to make another pit stop even though we went full tank on this. Yeah. I mean, I didn't think that with the leniency 6 that we could still go over 300 there and stuff that, if I would have known that, we would have used the leniency 6 at the very start. That is so weird when you use the Lamborghini, how little that consumes in fuel. But of course it has a lot less horsepower, so of course that makes sense. Maybe that's what we want to actually do on this car. Maybe we want it to have actually less horsepower, so it can last longer. And then we just reduce its downforce and stuff that. Because maybe that will just make it go fast enough, and stuff that, still. I'm going to take a piss before I start the next coin, by the way, so yeah. And we're not going to try again with this McLaren, by the way, right? I thought about, of course, doing the, as I said, we could reduce its horsepower and then remove some of the downforce from it and stuff that. So because that will increase the max speed of the car as well. Eller se för competizione. We're all gaining 2 places now because 2 of them are pitting. And they almost need fuel again as well. Okay, now there's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, that's